When we think of spiritual awakening, most people imagine peace, a calm mind, endless gratitude, a golden light glowing within you while angels sing softly in the distance. But the truth is, the beginning of awakening often feels nothing like that. It's not calm, it's not pretty, and it's definitely not always peaceful. It's messy, confusing, and sometimes painful. It shakes your sense of who you are down to your very cells. Because awakening isn't about adding light to your life. It's about removing everything that blocks it. That means your body, your mind, and your emotions start reorganizing themselves from the inside out. And when this happens, strange things begin. You might wake up feeling different for no reason. You might feel waves of exhaustion followed by bursts of energy. Your appetite may change. Your sleep may become irregular. Your emotions may rise and fall like tides you can't predict. You may even look in the mirror and feel like you're seeing a new person looking back. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your body is retuning itself to a new frequency. When your consciousness expands, your body must adjust to hold that expansion. Old patterns, old pain, and stored memories in your cells begin to move. You're not just thinking differently, you're vibrating differently. And that change is physical. Some people suddenly lose weight without trying. Others retain water or feel inflamed for weeks. Both are part of the same process. Release. Your body has always been your oldest ally. It carries the history of every emotion you've ever felt. When your awareness begins to rise, your body starts clearing what no longer belongs. So if you've been feeling off lately, dizzy, restless, tired, overly emotional, breathe. You're not broken. You're evolving. The process of awakening isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aligned. You may notice your skin glowing differently or your eyes appearing clearer. That's not just biology, it's bioenergy. Your cells are remembering what harmony feels like. The light you've been searching for outside yourself begins to show through your face, your posture, your gaze. It's your spirit finally visible. The eyes are especially important. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone who seems to have peace beyond reason? That calm that can't be faked? That's the reflection of inner awakening. As the inner fog clears, the eyes start to mirror the soul's clarity. The dullness that once came from carrying years of stress or sadness begins to lift. It's as if the light within you, long hidden behind fear, suddenly remembers how to shine again. But remember this, the more the light expands, the more the shadows appear. As you awaken, everything that was suppressed in your unconscious begins to surface, not to punish you but to be healed. That's why awakening can feel chaotic. You might relive memories you thought you'd forgotten. You might feel emotions that don't seem to belong to this moment. But these aren't setbacks, they're releases. Your nervous system is learning to operate in higher clarity, and that requires letting go of dense emotions. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the sun of awareness rises, it stirs the mud from the bottom. The water becomes cloudy, not because the light caused chaos, but because it revealed what was already there. That's the truth of awakening. Illumination reveals the hidden. It's tempting to wish for the old peace, the numbness that felt safe. But numbness is not peace, it's disconnection. The true peace that comes later is alive, conscious, and earned through courage. So if you find yourself asking, "What's wrong with me?" remember, nothing is wrong. Something is transforming. Every headache, every emotional wave, every restless night, all of it is your system learning to hold more light. This is not punishment. It's purification. The body, the temple of the soul, is rewiring itself to carry more consciousness. And in that process, everything false must fall away. This is also why so many people feel like they're losing themselves during awakening. The identity built from survival, the one made of roles, defenses, and achievements, begins to dissolve. This is what mystics call ego death. It sounds dramatic, but it's actually an act of grace. The universe doesn't take anything from you that's real. It only removes the masks that block the truth of who you are. Ego death can feel like confusion, loss, even grief. You might not recognize yourself, your goals, or the people around you. Feels like the map of your life is being erased. And in a way it is. Because awakening isn't about changing the scenery, it's about realizing the traveler was never the map. The you that you thought you were, the one defined by success, pain, or relationships, was never your essence. It was the costume your consciousness wore to experience growth. When that costume starts falling apart, don't panic. That's the soul stepping forward. At first, it's disorienting. You may feel lost, floating between identities, unsure what's real. But that emptiness is sacred. That's the space where your real self begins to breathe. It's the silence between two lives, the old one fading, the new one not yet formed. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also the most creative moment of your entire existence. Because everything that you'll become is born in that silence. When you stop clinging to what you were, you create room for what you truly are. So if you're there now, in that void, that confusion, that I don't know who I am anymore phase, know that it's not the end. It's the doorway. The divine always dismantles before it rebuilds. And your soul is under reconstruction. When the old self begins to dissolve, something deeper starts to emerge. The part of you that was never broken, never small, never afraid. But before that piece fully anchors, the energy inside you begins to shift dramatically. You start feeling more, sometimes too much. Emotions, sensations, even the moods of others become louder, almost electric. You might walk into a room and instantly sense the energy there, joy, tension, sadness, before a single word is spoken. It can be overwhelming. And yet it's not a flaw. It's a sign of awakening sensitivity, your energetic awareness coming back online. Your nervous system, once numb from years of survival, starts to feel again. You're not too sensitive. You're alive. This heightened sensitivity is the soul's way of teaching discernment. You begin to see beyond appearances, to feel truth before it's spoken, to sense alignment or deception. And though this new perception can be tiring at first, it's actually the beginning of your spiritual intelligence activating. The key is to balance it, not fear it. To learn to ground yourself in your own light so you don't drown in others. Because when you don't center your energy, you start absorbing everything around you. But when you root yourself in awareness, you become a mirror, reflecting, not absorbing. With time, this sensitivity transforms into a gift. You'll notice that your intuition sharpens. You start making decisions not from logic, but from resonance. And that resonance rarely lies. Awakening also changes how your energy moves. What once felt heavy or stuck begins to accelerate. You start manifesting faster. Thoughts, emotions, even random ideas seem to appear in your life almost instantly. This can be exciting, but it also tests your balance. Because acceleration amplifies everything. The light and the shadow. The blessings and the unresolved. Imagine your energy as a train. In the beginning, it's a slow freight train carrying years of old beliefs, fears, and emotional baggage. But as you release those weights, your train starts to move faster, smoother, like a high-speed engine. You attract more quickly what matches your frequency. So your external life begins to mirror your inner state in real time. If you hold fear, it appears as obstacles. If you hold clarity, reality flows. This is why the deeper you go, the more you must live consciously. Every thought, every reaction, every feeling becomes creative energy. You are no longer just reacting to life, you are conducting it. At this stage, challenges come faster too. Unprocessed wounds resurface more vividly, not because you're failing, but because you're ready to clear them. What took years to notice before, you now see within days. The universe wastes no time with an awakened soul. And this acceleration leads to one of the most powerful gifts of all, spiritual clarity. It's as if the window of your perception, once covered in dust and fingerprints, begins to clear. The world doesn't change, you just finally see it. You start noticing the energy behind things, the motive behind words, the frequency behind actions. People's truths become visible in their tone, their eyes, their vibration. You begin to live by what you feel is true, not what you've been told to believe. This is the awakening of discernment, seeing the invisible architecture of reality. The energetic threads connecting events, people, and emotions begin to reveal themselves. What once seemed random now shows a pattern. You begin to sense that everything, even the painful parts, had a purpose. Every heartbreak was breaking you open. Every detour was guiding you back to yourself. With this realization, peace begins to return, not the fragile peace of denial, but the solid peace of knowing. You no longer need to control everything. You start to trust the intelligence that's been orchestrating your transformation all along. And something beautiful happens. Your energy stabilizes. Your body relaxes. Your heart opens again. Now, instead of resisting what arises, you meet it with curiosity. Instead of fearing emotions, you feel them fully. Instead of chasing light, you realize you are the light, and everything else was a reflection of forgetting that truth. This is the rebirth, the moment when awakening shifts from chaos to clarity. The eyes that once looked for answers outside now see through illusion. The heart that once feared loss now feels the unity behind all things. The body that once carried tension now vibrates with presence. And the self that once felt separate begins to dissolve into something greater. You begin to live in flow, not because life becomes perfect, but because you stop fighting its rhythm. You trust your path. You trust your timing. You trust yourself. That trust changes everything. Because when trust replaces fear, your vibration stabilizes. When you accept what arises, resistance disappears. And in that acceptance, the soul expands freely. So if you find yourself right now in the middle of change, your body shifting, your emotions fluctuating, your sense of self dissolving, know this: you are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Your body is not betraying you, it's awakening with you. Every symptom is communication. Every sensation is guidance. Let the process unfold. Trust the intelligence of your body, your energy, your soul. Because the same force that made the stars is reorganizing your being from within. It's not chaos, it's creation. The old you was built for survival. The new you is built for truth. And as you walk this path, raw, sensitive, luminous, remember this: you're not becoming something new. You're remembering what you've always been. Awakening is not about finding light. It's about removing everything that hides it. So breathe deeply. Feel your body. Feel the pulse of life inside you. That is spirit moving. That is you waking up. And as your light grows, so does your clarity. You'll begin to see the beauty in every stage of the journey, even the messy ones, because you'll understand that the breakdown was the opening, and that every tremor, every tear, every transformation was simply the universe whispering, "Welcome home."